Hello again. Good evening. So, we're going to get back into this interesting read here, Seership, Guide to Soul Sight and the Magic Mirror and How to Use It by Paschal Beverly Randolph. So, welcome. I've just been stopping when it's time for me to get into something else. So, I just remember where I'm at, and we're on page 26 here into this next paragraph. We're talking about like magic mirrors and whatnot. Oh, get on my mouth. The persons who seek for interior light and perceptive power cannot obtain it without a trial which tests the perseverance. They must endeavor to secure an equable nervous, physical, and mental health. For the clairvoyance, falsely so called, which results from sickness and morbid states of mind and body, is at best both unsafe and unreliable, but a psychovision, such as can without much difficulty be reached through processes herein laid down, and especially by means of a good glass, such as Vilmara's, which, in my opinion, Maugre, all table rapping, planchetting, and all that other objectors may urge, is incomparably a better, more rapid, and infinitely more satisfactory means than any other known on earth today, and, if necessary, I could give the names of scores of adepts in their almost daily use. Some may ask the question, spiritualism is now an accredited fact. Why not, then, depend upon the revelations obtainable from that source for answers to all questions concerning the interior senses and the invisible worlds about us? That was a question. Hey, Saturnian. Hey, cool gamer. Welcome. What advantage can a person have by pursuing the search in his or her own person? To which I answer, first, not 10% of what passes for spiritual intercourse has a higher origin than the medium's mind. Second, what one sees, feels, hears is positive proof to him or her. All spiritual communications come second-handed, but the clairvoyant sees directly and reaches knowledge by the first intention. Third, if a person is lucid or clairvoyant, he or she has a secret personal positive power and need not consult any other authority whatever. Fourth, mediumship is automasy. A medium is a machine played on and worked by others when it really exists, but the clairvoyant sees, knows, understands, learns, and grows in personal, magnetic, and mental power day by day, and while embodied, makes the very best possible preparations for the certain and absolute life beyond the grave, which awaits us all when this fever called living is over at last. Fever called living. Cool. Hey, Heidi, welcome. Awesome-o. Welcome in. Fifth, clairvoyance necessarily stabilizes and refines the mind, body, tastes, passions, and tendencies of everyone who possesses and practices it. Virtue is not a myth, death is, but by clairvoyance, the bars of death are beaten down, and it opens the gates of glory to show all doubting souls the light and life beyond. And why die till one's work is done? Is yours? If not, this divine thing will enable you to more effectually accomplish it. Possession ordereth use. True clairvoyants do not count themselves as altogether of this world, for they are in connection with and do the work below of the ethereal peoples of the starry skies. By means of this royal road, the true seer or seeress is enabled to read the varied scrolls of human life. Frequently to explain the real significance of dreams and visions, examine and prescribe for those who are sick or ailing in body, soul, mind, heart, affections, hope, ambition, love, aspiration, speculation, losses, gains, fears, and troubles of every character, healing bodies, minds, souls, scanning by real positive mental vision, not merely the secrets of a man's or woman's lives and loves, and keeping them as wisdom seeds to grow into good fruitage presently, but also reaching the perfect comprehension of the sublime fact that organization determines destinies, which of course begets charity to the neighbor and love to all mankind. Hence, it is possible to foretell events that must inevitably come to pass, either in the general or special plane of an individual's life and experience. There are ever two roads and three choices before every intelligent human being, and clairvoyance alone is competent to decide which is best, for only this magnificent science and power can enable us to reach the penetralium. Penetralium. So, like, that's what the pinnacle, the penetration, the knowingness, the inner world. Let's look it up. Penetralium. Shit, there was a quote that came and went while I was reading too. To grow into organization determines destinies. It was something to the effect of we don't decide our futures. Our habits decide our futures. We don't decide our futures. We decide our habits, and our habits decide our futures. I think that's how it goes. Okay. Penetralium. Okay, and I'm like in the middle of this whole thing right here, which is just like a full page. Oh, right. Ambrita, welcome in. Awesome. Very good. Come on, do what I want, please. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I have so many tabs open up here. Let's close some of them out, eh? Okay, penetralium. Definition. The innermost or most secret part of a building, an inner sanctum, a sanctum sanctorum. Cool. The plural of penetralia. Cool. Let's see if I'm saying it right.
Penetralium.
Penetralium.
The innermost or most secret part of a building, an inner sanctum. Penetralium. Penetralium.
Penetralium. Okay, thank you. Penetralium. Penetralium. Cool. Oh, right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Looking at tuning forks last night. Okay, back to this. Okay. Can enable us to reach the penetralium. As a Rosicrucian, I know that men ever fail and die mainly through feebleness of will. Clairvoyance will teach the adept how to strengthen it. The will is one of the prime human powers, and it alone has enabled man to achieve the splendid triumphs that mark all the ages. If it sleep, or be weak, fitful, or lethargic, the man amounts to a mere cipher. If it be strong and normal, there is no obstacle can successfully impede its sway. We know that the sick are healed by its strength, that homes are made happy by its power, that love itself comes to man through its divine agency, that woman can realize her hopes in many directions through its resistless force, that God is will, and whoso hath it fullest and finest, most resembleth him. Steady willing will bring lucidity of vision and of souls. By it also those who love or would love may find. Especially is this true of that large class who seek the occult and strongly desire to reach the cryptic light beneath the floors of the waking world. I mean the sons and daughters of sorrow, anguish, and the light. Anguish and the light was like one thing together, and it was capitalized. I mean, it's all cap. It was like bigger caps. The loving, unloved ones of the earth, the lovely pilgrims over desert sands, the heart-reft mariners now sailing and surging over the stormy waters of the bitter seal of circumstance. For these are the God sent, and they travel ever the roughest paths. To all such, will, and especially clairvoyance, is a boon, a true friend, saying, Come unto me, all ye that are weary and heavy laden, and I will point the road to rest. Clairvoyance, I mean, not automasy in any shape. What a man or woman eats, drinks, is clothed with, inhales, or is surrounded by, has a direct effect upon the entire being. What shall be partaken of or avoided in order to purify the person and create the best possible personal conditions? What chemist can answer that question? Who among them all can tell the precise magnetic, electric, or dynamic state of a man at any given moment of his life? Not one. But the clear seer can do all that and more. What shall be taken or avoided in order to strengthen the will, the love nature, the flagging appetites of natural passions, the entire nature, principle, courage, fortitude, faith, persistence? Mental lucidity alone can reply. Nothing is more certain than that in certain things you have undertaken, disastrous failure has been the result. And why? You cannot tell, but lucidity will enable you to find out and render you master or mistress of the situation. There are three things only that we strive for in this life, as times go, and these are love, money, and position, or power. But we often fail in reaching all or either, only because we are ignorant of the true road to them, as determined by our respective organizations. What but seership can remedy all this? Again, it may happen with the best of us that we have forfeited love or lost it, that we are stranded midway on the rocks of distrust, jealousy, incompatibility. Does passion lie smoldering? Do you love and find that love unreturned? Are you forced to eat your own heart and languish all your days and nights in hopeless gloom, as I have in years gone by? Have meddlers destroyed your peace, broken up the dearest and tenderest ties, wrecked you on the hard rocks of life's roughest paths, deserted you and left you all alone in the terrible trial hour? Have you been wrecked on life's journey and seek dry and solid footing? Do you seek communion with the dead and to know the higher magic of power? Here is Rhodes, and here leap, hope, persistence. It is worthwhile to know what your faults or character are and how the defects may. Wait, oh, that was a question. Is it worthwhile to know what your faults or character are and how the defects may be remedied? To know the reasons why you fail in many of your undertakings and what will lead you on to success? If man or woman hath lost hope, and love and passion are smoldering wrecks, it is worthwhile to know how they may be resurrected from their premature graves. All this true clairvoyance will instruct you how to accomplish. And then this looks like a poem or something. It's in like different font. Sad, sad are they who know not love, but far from passion's tears and smiles, drift down a moonless sea and pass the silvery coasts of far isles. But sad are they whose longing lips kiss empty air and never touch the dear warm mouth of those they love, waiting, wasting, suffering much. But clear as amber, sweet as musk, is life to those whose loves unite. They bask in Allah's smiles by day and nestle in his heart by night. Thus sang Fatima, thus singeth ever the ever true soul. Clairvoyance should be cultivated by everybody, and then there would be fewer marriage mistakes. Here's a continuation of the poem. No curtain hides from view the spheres Elysian, save these poor shells of half-transparent dust, and all that binds the spiritual vision is pride and hate and lust. Yeah. Clairvoyance points the road that all should travel. But to be valuable, it should be healthy. Sidney Smith said a good thing when he wrote, "Never give way to melancholy. Resist it steadily, for the habit will encroach. I once gave a lady 22 receipts against melancholy. One was a bright fire, another to remember all the pleasant things said to and of her, another to keep a box of sugar plums on the chimney piece, and a kettle simmering on the hob. Never teach false morality. How exquisitely absurd to tell girls that beauty is of no value, dress of no use. Beauty is of value. Her whole prosperity and happiness in life may often depend on a new gown or a becoming bonnet. And if she has 5 grains of common sense, she will find this out. The great thing is to teach her their just value, and that there must be something better under a bonnet than a pretty face or real happiness, but never sacrifice truth. I am convinced that digestion is the great secret of life, and that character, talents, virtues, and qualities are powerfully affected by beef, mutton, pie crust, and rich soups. I have often thought that I could feed or starve men into many virtues and vices, and affect them more powerfully with the instruments of cookery than Timotheus could do formerly with his lyre. Timotheus. The principle applies to clairvoyance, lucidity. Be so healthily or not at all. Self-mesmerization is a very safe and sure road if it is a slow process. As a matter of course, every tyro and experimentalist will not make a grand success because in too great a hurry, nor is it to be expected, neither will every one skate or sing well who tries, until a fair amount of practice, shall enable them to do so. That practice necessarily involving many failures before the final triumph. Mesmerism, self or foreign, has been in use as an educator for hundreds of long ages, as is proved by the sculptures and tablets of ancient Egypt, Syria, Nineveh, and Babylon, fashioned by civilized men over 40,000 years ago. If there be any truth in the archaeological conclusions of Bada, Mariette, Champollion, Lepsius, Rawlings, Leonard, Hornard, and Baron Bunsen, and in those ancient days were, as now, used practically, then probably, as now, a large class of learned men affirmed diseases mainly to spring from bad states of the blood and organs, totally ignoring what clairvoyance then, as now, asserted that they were and are frequently the result of deeply hidden cases, albeit there is some doubt whether they even distantly glimpsed the recently discovered yourself into another path. So I missed this 22 here, which was about Timotheus and his lyre. Nothing truer than this has ever been written through the lines were penned more than half a century ago, when even the term dietetics was uncoined. A piece of pie crust may cause a fit of melancholy and cause suicide. Examples of failure and horror due to an attack of indigestion can be multiplied literally a million times. On the other hand, countless great countless great deeds possible and performed as a result of simple living and exalted ideas can be cited. While it is true that our thoughts affect the body and its functions, it is equally true, and to a greater degree, that our physical state profoundly influences the mind and therefore the soul. Consequently, our entire spiritual state and the body is what the digestion, therefore thy food, make it. Bam! Hey, Nicholas, welcome! Welcome back. Cool. Never begin a course of experiments unless you intend to carry them on to certain success. To begin a course of magnetic experiments and become tired in a fortnight because you do not succeed is absurd. Mesmeric circles are, all things considered, probably the quickest way to reach practical results in a short time. In the attempt to reach clairvoyance, most people are altogether in too great a hurry to reach grand results, and in that haste neglect the very means required, permitting the mind to wander all over creation, from the consideration of a miserable love affair of no account whatever, to an exploration of the mysteries enshrouding the great nebulae, or Orion, or Centauri. Now that won't do. If one wants to be able to pursue the life scroll of others, the first thing learned must be the steady fixing of mind and purpose, aim and intent upon a single point, wholly void of other thought or object. The second requirement is think the thing closely, and third, will steadily, firmly, to know the correct solution of the problem in hand. And then the probabilities are 100 to 10 that the vision thereof, or the phantorama of it, will pass before you like a vivid dream, or it will flash across your mind with resistless conviction of truth. Mechanical or magnetic means may be used to facilitate results, but never by the opiates or narcotics. Lured by what uh, Cahagnet lured by what Cahagnet wrote about the use of narcotic agents, and strengthened in the hope by what Theophile Gautier, Bayard Taylor, Fitzhugh Ludlow, and various other travelers wrote regarding the use of one early in the year 1855, I was led to make two experiments, but may God forgive me for so doing. Nothing on earth could induce me to repeat them, or to suffer others to do so, for I know no possible good, but much of unmitigated evil can result therefrom. In attempting to gain lucidity, I strongly advise purely magnetical means, either at the hands of a judicious manipulator or by the means indicated herein. A magnetic bandage worn over the head with the polar plates, either with the polar plates in the front or back head, or covering either temples, may be worn to equalize the currents and induce the slumber. And now I end my task with a bit of advice, hoping that the matter of this book, original and selected, may benefit all, to everybody. The post says, and I repeat, God gave us hands, one left, one right, the first to help ourselves, the other to stretch abroad in kindly might, and help along the suffering brother. Then if you see a sister fall, and bow her head before the weather, assist at once, remove the thrall, and suffer or grow strong together. Bam! Mary, welcome! Awesome! Delaney, welcome in! Awesome-o! Very good. Good to see you. It may chance that you, reader, have enemies, and if so, take my advice, for I have them too, sapheads mainly. Go straight on and don't mind them. If they get in your way, walk around them, regardless of their spite. A man or woman who has no enemies is seldom good for anything, is made of that kind of material which is so easily worked that everyone has a hand in it. A sterling character is one who thinks and speaks what she or he thinks. Such are sure to have enemies. They are as necessary as fresh air. They keep people alive and active. A celebrated character who was surrounded by enemies used to remark, "They are sparks which, if you do not blow, will go out of themselves." Live down prejudice was the Iron Duke's motto. Let this be your feeling while endeavoring to live down the scandal of those who are bitter against you. If you perform but your duty, and hundreds who were once alienated from you will flock to you and acknowledge their error. Keep right on the rough, or even tenor of your own way. Dang, I like that. Why look back to the past when you should be gazing forward into the future? Why hurry to the old haunts when you see the whole world hastening the other way? Right? A little generous prudence, a little forbearance of one another, and some grains of charity might win all to join and unite into one general and brotherly search after truth. Could we but forego the prelactic tradition? Prelactic, like milk? Prelactic tradition of crowning free conscience and Christian liberties into canons and precepts of men, I doubt not, if some great and worthy stranger were to come among us, wise to discern the mold and temper of a people, and how to govern it, observing the high hopes and aims, the diligent alacrity of our extended thoughts and reasons, in pursuance of truth and freedom, but that he would cry out as Pyrrhus did, admiring the Roman docility and courage. If such were my epigros, I would not despair the greatest design that could be attempted to make the church or a kingdom happy. Well, shoot, I gotta look a couple words up here. Prelactic. Okay. Prelactic. Of relating to, constituting or resembling a prelate or prelacy, usually prelatical. Oh, prelatic? It's not lactic. I'm such a dork. Oh no. Oh shoot. Oh my gosh. I know I just started blushing so hardcore. Shit, dude. I screwed that one up. Prelatic. Oh, prelatic? Oh no. Prelatic. Of relating to, constituting, or resembling a. Come on. That doesn't really help me, right? Why do I hate it when they use the term to explain the term. Prelatical, often disparaging, adhering to prelacy. Episcopal? What? Well, let's go to Merriam-Webster. Okay, well, I guess we just have to look up what prelatic means then, because... Oh, wait, that is where I am. What? Prelate. What's prelate? An ecclesiastic, such as a bishop or an abbot, of superior rank. Bam! There we go. Prelatic. Cool.
Prelate.
Prelate. Why can't they didn't do that one? Okay, prelatic. We'll say prelatic. Awesome, we found it. Okay. Genevieve, yay! Welcome in. Dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. Those cards you pulled? Ah, holy majolly, thank you. Just at the right time. Man, perfect. Thank you so much. Yeah, wild the way that worked out. All those cards you pulled. That's cool. So, but could we forego this prelatic tradition of crowning free consciousness and Christian liberties into canons and precepts of men? I doubt not. If some great and worthy stranger were to come among us, wise to discern the mold and temper of a people, and how to govern it, observing the high hopes and aims, the diligent alacrity of our extended thoughts and reasons, in pursuance of truth and freedom, but that he would cry out as Pyrrhus did, admiring the Roman docility and courage. If such were my epirotes. All right, so Epirots. 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 Well, let's try it with an E on the end. Epirote. Greek. Variants. It's a region. Oh, so it's a person from the northwestern Greece bordering of the Ionian Sea. Iona. I want to go to Iona. How do I say it?
Epirus.
Epiros. Pyros. I'm not sure if that's how you say it. Epiros. We'll say it like that. If such were my Epiros, I would not despair the greatest design that could be attempted to make a church or a kingdom happy. Have you faith in the great spirit of our mighty people? Can you discern the instinct of its immortal longing? Do you hope to stem the tide of its irresistible advance any more than to take the swallows from the sky and stop their flight towards summer? Is it possible you can believe that tradition will serve for anything but men's couch dreams, or that the shadows of antiquity will stand for the substance of now? The President, Congress, and Supreme Court of today do not mean the same powers of 50 years ago. We call our Constitution the same, but laws vary in their effect with the tendencies of their administrators, as completely as if they were repealed or altered in their substance. Public opinion consigns some to the cobwebs of the obsolete. Altered views change their very interpretation. Are you alone insensible to the change? If not, be up to stirring with the times in all affairs of church, state, politics, labor, love, marriage, and the family. Or we live in stirring times when every one of us must prove ourselves either pieces or pawns in a chess game of life, and to avoid being checked, must play well. Let me come back to this YouTube. Invisible Wings, awesome, welcome in. In these days of turmoil, climatic changes, political change and revolution, imposture and true revelation, rampant quackery and blooming science, honesty and villainy side by side, people may falter and despair of the world and its fortunes. But to do so is to distrust God and doubt his providence, for he has safely brought us through so far, and therefore Let us truly trust him to the end. Reader, whoever you may be, I beg you to not only read, but study well the glorious meaning of the following sublime jewel from the pen of the Islam poets. For once armed with its philosophy, you will be impregnable to all assaults and stand firm amidst the wildest tempest. Quote, Allah, Allah, cried the sick man, racked with pain the long night through, till with prayer his heart grew tender, till his lips like honey grew. But morning came the tempter, said, call louder, child of pain. See if Allah ever hears or answers. Here I am again. Like a stab, the cruel cavil through his brain and pulses went. To his heart an icy coldness, to his brain a darkness sent. Then before him stands Elias, says, my child, why thus dismayed? Dost repent thy former fervor? Is thy soul of prayer afraid? Ah, he cried, I've called so often, never heard the here I am. And I thought God will not pity, will not turn on me his eye. Then the grave Elias answered, God said, rise, Elias, go. Speak to him, the sorely tempted, lift him from his gulf of woe. Tell him that his very longing is itself an answering cry, that his prayer, come gracious Allah, is my answer, here am I. Every inmost aspiration is God's angel unfielding, and in every, oh my Father, slumbers deep a here, my child. Unfiled. Sorry. Every inmost aspiration is God's angel unfiled. Oh, undefiled. Mother of pearls. Undefiled. Did I say it right the first time? And in every, oh, my Father, slumbers deep a here, my child. Damn, that was difficult for me to read in this font. Should I do it again? It doesn't mean I'll do it better. Oh. Women, a last word to you. Perhaps you have a lover or husband, and that being the case, I say, if you prize him, let him know it. If you love him, show it, show it. I like that. Right? Yeah. I am going to try it again. No problem. Hopefully it goes better this time. We'll see. Allah, Allah, cried the sick man, racked with pain the long night through, till with prayer his heart grew tender, till his lips like honey grew. But at morning came the tempter, said, call louder, child of pain. See if Allah ever hears or answers, here I am again. Like a stab the cruel cavil through his brain and pulses went. To his heart an icy coldness, to his brain a darkness sent. Then before him stands Elias, says, my child, why thus dismayed? Dost repent thy former fervor? Is thy soul of prayer afraid? Ah, he cried, I've called so often, never heard the here I am, and I thought God will not pity, will not turn on me his eye. Then the grave Elias answered, God said, rise, Elias, go, speak to him, the sorely tempted, lift him from his gulf of woe. Tell him that his every longing is itself an answering cry, that his prayer, come gracious Eliah, is my answer, here I am. Every inmost aspiration is God's angel, undefiled, and in every, oh my Father, slumbers deep, a here, my child. Ah, man. I don't know about that. Okay, moving forward. So yeah, if you prize him, let him know it. If you love him, show it, show it. The cure for wrong and evil is to be found in clairvoyance, which will enable women to avoid certain risks at certain times, enable man to understand himself, his wife, and his neighbor, and thus will seership banish crime and bring peace on earth and goodwill among men. So may be it. Let us now turn to another branch of the great subject of seership. Okay, so shoot, I missed 25. 25 was the end of that poem that I just nailed. No grander lines were ever penned at all. Neophytes should commit them to memory, so they may quickly come to mind when discouragement, sorrow, or failure seem to stalk abroad. If your supplication is from the heart, then under the law there must be an answer to it, and there shall be. Hey, this feels thicker. Okay, so that was the end of the seership portion. 40 minute. Dang, I don't want to end. So I'll keep going then, all right? Theory and practice, the magic mirror. My reasons for writing, compiling, and editing the following extraordinary treatise, a very difficult task, because wholly out of the ordinary literary channels, a subject almost wholly unknown to the great majority of readers, and a labor that necessitated very extensive reading and research of and among many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, were threefold. First, to relieve myself of the pressure of correspondence on the subject of the treatise and occult matters generally, by recording the principal points upon which inquiries are made of me, from the fact that I am generally supposed to be thoroughly versed in many of those subtle sciences which for ages have constituted the special studies of the fraternities Pythagorean and Rosicrucian, to which I have, for many years, had the honor and privilege to being. 26. Written in 1864. That's what it says. The second motive was that of obliging one who, in the dark hour of sickness, proved to me a friend indeed, and thirdly, because the time had come wherein, at least partially, to ventilate a much misunderstood and tabooed subject, especially as the opportunity was offered to me just then to avail myself of very rare and unusual faculties of obtaining information of the subjects treated of from one of the first masters of occult science now on the globe in flesh and blood and bone. I allude to the famous Armenian philosopher Quilna Vilmara. Oh, well, let's just find out, right? Can I find a pronunciation of this cool woman's name? Probably not in Merriam-Webster. Let's get out of there. Hey, it's being slow. Come on. Okay, here we go. So, struggled over this name every time. Cuilna. Google's not giving it up. Vilmara pronunciation. Not Vilmara. Not Kulina. How do you say it? Quilna Vilmara. That's how I'm going to say it, I guess. Quilna Vilmara. Quilna. Swilna. Okay. I allude to the famous Armenian philosopher Quilna Vilmara, then on a brief visit to the shores of Republican and matter-of-fact America. Aside from these motives is another. Within these past few years, there has grown up a very widespread discontent regarding theories, theorists, and the real causes underlying and subtending the strange and varied physical phenomena of the age. Especially is this true with reference to the but little understood, yet in reality, vast science of magnetics, one branch of which the following pages are devoted to. The want was felt for a handbook. That want is here supplied. Amidst the heavy pressure on my time, health, and vital power, but little opportunity has been hitherto afforded the writer hereof, to give the subject the attention it so richly deserves. The task of bringing its scattered ends together has been imperfectly performed herein, perhaps, yet have I fearlessly stripped it of the garb of mystery purposely thrown around it by pseudo-mystics, charlatans, and the rank impostors who abound on all hands, and bring odium and disgrace on a matter whereof they are wholly ignorant. Mirror seeing is unquestionably a fact and a science. However, some may fail in their efforts to see, and despite the sneers of others who are wise in their own conceit, know nothing whatever of the principia of what they of what which they so shit of what which they so glibly deride and condemn, and who have not the kind or quality of brains or mental power possessed by those who are better qualified than they are. Mirror seeing is but another mode and phase of clairvoyance. It is the self-same power, reached by a different road and different processes, but is and can be carried to a far greater degree of perfection by many persons, while others totally and wholly fail. And here I strongly advise all to refrain from the expense and trouble of mirror experimentation, who have no tendencies of an interior magnetic or mesmeric character. But possessing these, it is highly probable that satisfactory results will follow a proper trial. You know, when I did that past life regeneration thing, that whole Dolores Cannon thing, the lady said that nowadays, like, I don't know when she said, but like in the past couple of years, that like now no one can be fully hypnotized anymore. Because I told her while we were like doing the thing that, like, I don't really feel like I'm hypnotized right now. I just feel like I'm describing what's coming to my imagination first. I still had like some emotional experiences though too. So I don't know. It just makes me wonder. That doesn't ring. I don't know about that. I guess it doesn't really make me feel too terrible though to think that I couldn't be like completely, out of control. The famous Dr. Dee of London and thousands of others since and before him used a plate of polished cannel coat, Cannel, cannel coat, which identical plate I have myself seen in the British Museum, and other instrumentalities also, a means whereby to scan and cognize mysteries otherwise wholly unreachable. Some sturdy matter-of-fact people in these material days, wherein a great deal of pseudo-miraclism is current, along with a very little that is real and genuine, are apt to ridicule and laugh at the idea that a mere physical agent can enable one to penetrate the floors of the waking world and come up, all brilliant and keen, upon the other side. Such scout the notion that an oval, concave, black-white mirror, or a crystal, or even a splotch of ink in a virgin's hand, 27, are really such instrumentalities. And yet I know that such is, incontrovertibly, the fact. And there are thousands in this country who can testify to the startling truth of what D and others claimed in that regard. And it's going to go into this whole thing, but first I'm going to get down to this 27, which says, which was all about okay, so this may be in the virgin's hand, or even a splotch of ink in a virgin's hand, 27. This may be male or female. It is best that these shall not have reached the age of puberty, and better yet, if the mind is free from all thoughts of sex desire. Okay, and then the regard what D and others claimed in that regard. What if upon the mirror's face serene your lot in life be written? What if its pearly sheen, its pearly sphere, disclosed to mortal view the far and dark unseen? This seemeth strange, yet doth to me appear. I far events can often clear preview, and in my trice-sealed, dark prospective glass foresee what future days shall bring to pass. There various news I learn of love and strife, peace, war, health, sickness, death, and life, of loss and gain, of famine and of store, deceits of husbands, wives, of travels on the shore, of storms at sea, the rise and fall of stocks, the market's state, and great commercial shocks, of business speculations, good fortune in the air, of when to stop or go, 'gainst danger to prepare, of turns to fortune, chances in the state, the fall of favorites, projects of the great. Wow. John D. The mystical has been to me a more familiar fact than that of friends on earth. In its solemn school of dim and solitary disciple, learned I the languages of other peopled worlds. Unquestionably, immortality is a truth, sublime as creation, more solid than the granite hills, and it has been demonstrated in 1,000 ways, physically, by viewless spiritual beings. There have been true mediums, there may still be, but it is equally certain that scores of heartless tricksters abound, whose business it is to counterfeit those testimonies from the dead. These wretched people thrive, for they are sustained by an unthinking class of believers in spiritualism, who care all for phenomena, nothing for principia. I haven't missed the number yet. Okay. Just so in other departments of occult science, false media and pretending clairvoyance, and what I call horseradish spiritualism, abound on all hands, downright unreasoning fanatics, a class of most wretched people who, for the sake of a little pecuniary gain, do not hesitate, in the grossest possible manner, to counterfeit true and real, and by their trickery bring odium and true spiritualism a genuine seership. In these days, a real medium or clairvoyant is the marked exception to a very broad rule. Just so it is with crystal and mirror seeing, there being 10 false to every single true one in the land. The thing itself is older that any civilization now of the globe, yet nevertheless, like genuine mediumship, is constantly being counterfeited. Indeed, turn whichever way you will, a great and deep-seated discontent prevails in the household of the spiritual faith. It is not so among Rosicrucians, albeit their belief in spirits is as strong can be. No fanatical, but strong. The people are getting tired of modern spiritualism, for they accept, as I do, its real facts, but discard its jargon and crudities. Interested parties try to hide its blotches, but these will show themselves. The reason is that there is too much theorizing and too little religion, too much head, and a great sparseness of heart. Carlyle wrote to a friend of mine that a certain given form of modern spiritualism was the liturgy of Dead Sea apes. Much of it is, but out of what is good and true in it, but out of what is good and true in it will spring, I hope, glorious things of heart and hope in the good time coming. Awesome. Oh my gosh. Hey, Matt, man, welcome in. Good to see ya. Cool. Decays. Yeah. Awesome. That's sort of a good stopping spot, actually. There's a line right there. Where's the next line? So much farther off. I don't know if there is another one. Oh, there is, and it's like a long way off. Okay, so yeah, I actually am going to call it right there then. That's a good stopping spot. It's the first one I really found in this book yet. So it was like chapter 1 of the Magic Mirror and how to use it. Wow. Dang. So thank you, everyone. I know I'll be back tomorrow, Thursday. I have some stuff to do, but that's all kind of fluid. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be back with some more journeys out of the body for sure. Maybe something else. Dude, that book that I had the dream about, that's been in my cart forever, The Moon-Eyed People. It came in. Oh yeah. Folktales from Welsh America. Peter Stevenson. I haven't read any of it yet. Oh my gosh. So yeah, that's going to be something coming. Man, that's the thing. I was thinking, man, I could read for 24 hours a day. All right. I love y'alls, and I'll see you so soon. I appreciate you so much, and I wish you wonderful Thursdays, wonderful rest of your evenings. And yeah, I got to do it like we feel it. Mwah. I love you. Thank you. Thank you.